Well, thank you very much. We've got John Burt from Medherant. We've got John von Benicker from Locate Bio and Harry Lamble from Sense Bio, representing Mercia's life sciences portfolio and talking about their businesses today. Gentlemen, can I ask you to introduce yourself? John Burt, should we start with you?
Hi, I'm John Burt. I'm CEO of Medherant. Medherant was founded by Professor David Hamilton and the University of Warwick with early support from Mercia, and we're developing transdermal drug delivery patches using a proprietary adhesive technology.
John van Benecke, apologies for any mispronunciation.
No, that's fine. Hello, my name is John von Benicker. I am the Chief Executive of Locate Bio. Locate are a spin-out from the University of Nottingham, and we're building a world-leading diversified orthobiologics business. So we're focused on providing surgeons with best-in-class products, choices of products for them, so that they can in turn improve the lives of millions of patients who suffer from debilitating orthopedic conditions. We've brought together 3 very powerful orthobiologics platforms from 2 leading research groups. And from that, we have a number of late-stage assets which deal with the repair and regeneration of both bone and cartilage.
And Harry.
Sure. My name is Harry Lamble. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Sense Biodetection. We're developing the world's first disposable molecular test for COVID-19, bringing the gold standard chemistry of the laboratory into a disposable for the first time for decentralized testing.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for the introductions. From your perspectives, what makes a promising life sciences opportunity?
Okay, great. So I think there are a number of factors that have got to come into consideration when you're looking at a life sciences opportunity. Clearly, there's got to be either a medical need or a market need if you're in the services side of the life sciences industry. But they're building on that clear IP position, strong IP position related to your technology, and also a management team that's got the experience of operating in that area and the experience of developing companies, because this is ultimately about developing a company rather than just purely the technology. So a number of factors that come into play.
So from my perspective, I think fundamentally there's 3 things. It's leading science that addresses a clearly unmet need. I think that need needs to reside in a significant market opportunity. And then I think it's all around the people. You've got to have a group of people who can put in place the right strategy and then execute against that strategy.
From my point of view, it's as simple as having a product that meets a clinical or user need at a viable cost point.
Due to COVID-19, how has the environment changed in 2020 for life sciences in general? And specifically, how has it changed the game for your business? Harry, should we take you first?
Sure. We're developing a product for COVID-19, so it's fundamentally transformed our business. But I think more broadly, the whole life sciences field has been pushed to the fore, and particularly the healthcare field. And this goes beyond just the companies developing therapeutics and vaccines and diagnostics, of course, which is what we're doing, but also the service industry around us has ramped up massively to meet the needs of highly accelerated product timelines. And that's been critical for us to be able to move quickly with an accelerated program to develop a new diagnostic test for COVID. I think for us in particular, we've been able to really accelerate our path to market. There's investment opportunities that we never expect to have at this time. And there's favorable regulatory changes that mean we can really move forward more quickly with our products.
John von Benecke.
I think it's been mixed. The life science industry as a whole has been under public spotlight like it's never been before, as the whole world watches this race to a vaccine and improvements in treatment of those who have come down with COVID-19. So, I think the companies in the right space, those producing PPE or ventilators or diagnostics or in the search for a vaccine, have all seen massive surges in demand. But for others, the impact has been clearly negative. So I think development timelines for some companies have slipped. I think hundreds of clinical trials are either on hold or slowed down. Elective procedures have been cancelled. Routine doctor visits have slowed, and that results in new disease incidences going detected for longer, and has resulted in a near-term decline of very many companies' products. For us, as Locate Bio, I think we were pretty well prepared. In February, when it became certainly a realistic prospect that this was going to have a larger European impact, we got ready to execute our business continuity plans, and so we're pretty well prepared to respond when one of our suppliers basically closed their doors for a number of months. A potential issue I think that's harder for us to plan around and may well impact us is the inability to travel and have face-to-face meetings now, as we're about to launch a Series A funding round. I think everyone's become pretty adept at doing video calls from their dining room table, but it's not clear to us how that's going to impact the relationship and the interactions in investor meetings as we go through our Series A.
I mean, clearly, life sciences has come into more of the public realm and recognition from an investor perspective, and it's brought the vaccine field very much into that spotlight in a way that hasn't been there in the investors' minds in recent years. I think it's impacted different companies according to whether they are within the COVID space or without. At Medherant, we are not operating and not pursuing any programs related to COVID-19. But for those that are COVID-19 focused, I think it'll be interesting to see over the next few years to what extent that has created a sustainable impact on their business and elevation of the technology into more of an investable proposition. I think we're seeing some of the vaccine technologies such as RNA platforms, which were increasing in their validation, but there's a lot of expectation now that rests on those shoulders. I think the other area is in terms of life sciences and the regulatory field, and how there is now more of a public dialogue around regulation and the requirements for development and approval of both therapeutic and vaccine programs. In terms of Medherant, as I say, we're not working in the COVID space, so we're a development stage company. So we've had to, like many companies, address COVID-19 in terms of the impact on our operations and the running of the staff. And I think it's reminded me and other members of the management team and the board how critical our staff are to the business, and that as they may or may not get individually affected by COVID-19 or their families, the impact that can have on the business. And as a small business with a small team, the criticality of key members of that team has really brought that back into the focus for the management team.
Fantastic. And I think as you touched on a little bit there, my next question is going to be around how does this play out over the next few years, and sort of what impact do you see on your business over the next few years? John, should we just carry on with you?
Okay, so in terms of the next few years, I think as John von Benecke mentioned, we will be, you will see how the investment climate changes with as a result of COVID-19, and whether we see sustained interest in life sciences. For us, so we work outside COVID-19. We are addressing a significant need in terms of prevention of cancer with the smoking cessation therapy, and our partners developing products for rare diseases. Those needs exist and will continue to exist. And so I think we are hopeful that there will be a return to some degree of normality for investment towards life sciences companies who are addressing those needs. I think obviously the impact of travel, we've had to adapt, and I think this is only for the good, the way we are all now adapting to using these electronic and video platforms more regularly within our businesses and for communication. It enables virtual working and the diversified team of a virtual model where we work extensively with CROs and CDMOs all the more easy.
John von Benecke?
Yeah, I think the long-term impact of the pandemic is yet to be fully understood. I mean, it's unclear how long it's going to take to find and approve a vaccine, and then you've got the small issue of the logistical challenge of inoculating the majority of the world's population. So I think once those two things have been overcome, things may well start to return to more of what we recognize as being normal, but some things probably won't go back. And I think that's a potential for long-term and positive change. So during the pandemic, you've seen a rapid adoption of technology, both in the healthcare system, but outside it as well. And I think that integration of new technologies should have benefits for patients, clinicians, and the industry generally. And I think for us, we treat patients who have bone infections, we treat patients who have degenerative disc disease. Those conditions are not going to go away. Their treatments are still going to be required. And I think for us, there'll be some changes, but ultimately, I think still a very, very bright future for us.
And Harry.
So COVID-19, as I believe, has led to a permanent change to the diagnostics industry for the better. That it's very clear, for many years, investors have shunned diagnostics in favor of therapeutics, but COVID has illustrated to everyone across the world the value that it can bring, the value of that information, and this change isn't going to go away. For us, over the next few years, as hopefully COVID comes under control, the same rationale will apply to other infections such as influenza, and there will be a permanent change in terms of clinicians and patients demand understanding of diagnostics and the value it can bring, and demand for products that can help manage infections.
Wonderful, and Harry, let's pick up on that theme if we may. So, I suppose it would be great to sort of look at the investment themes here. So, I think you've touched on investors shunning diagnostics for therapeutics. How do you see, again, looking over the next 3 to 5 years, the investment themes? What are going to be the key investment themes coming out?
Well, I think a significant one, particularly for the diagnostics industry, is the consumerization of healthcare. That the consumer demand for improved testing, because with the knowledge that diagnostics brings comes the power to take control of your own healthcare. And no one will care as much about their own healthcare and that of their family as themselves. And I think this is an unstoppable trend now towards consumer drivers pervading this critical area of healthcare, the diagnostics industry.
So I think healthcare systems will continue to be under significant financial stress, and we have to find ways of getting more from less. And those companies that are offering improved system efficiencies or delivering equivalent patient outcomes for more cost-effective ways of doing it, or improved patient outcomes for the same cost, I think those are all key areas for investment. But the one group that excites me the most, and I think is the most interesting areas, is those companies who, because of their focus, expertise, and importantly ambition, are able to potentially disrupt a whole segment of the healthcare sector and produce a step change in performance, represent the most exciting areas for investment.
So I think it's always difficult to call investment themes. I think a year ago, no one had anticipated such interest in the diagnostics and vaccine developers that we're seeing as a result of the pandemic. However, I think it does come back to many of the points that have been raised: the increasing consumerization and bringing benefit ultimately to consumers, to patients, and ease of access to healthcare, improving the tools in their hands to manage their own health, both from a preventative and a treatment perspective. And also you're addressing the delivery of healthcare and recognizing the limitations of the system and how to get more from the healthcare system.
Perfect. And John von Benecke, we haven't started with you yet, so I'll give you first shot on this one. What excites you most about your own business, and what do you see as the major opportunities for your business over the next few years?
Yeah, I think orthobiologics and tissue engineering is a fascinating area of research within regenerative medicine, and I'm very excited to be part of a team that is building a world-leading diversified orthobiologics business. We have a portfolio of products that are all best in class and will offer significant improvements to surgeons. And and avoid some of the compromises they have to make today. So in the next 2 years, we've got a really busy but very exciting time, a number of 510K products that we'll be bringing to the market, as well as IDE approvals for best-in-class products. And I think in our sector, we're a rare example of a company of our size that has a balanced pipeline of near-term revenues, but with multiple high-value shots on goal as well. So we're in a great position to execute on our strategy of building that world-leading business.
Sounds exciting. Thank you. Finally, John.
We're moving our business forward at Medherant on two fronts. Firstly, with our own product moving towards clinical development, and secondly, with partnered programs. So with our own program, it's based on an established pharmacotherapy, the most effective pharmacotherapy for smoking cessation and nicotine addiction. And we expect that program to be in the clinic next year, a product that offers benefit for patients in terms of the ease of use and potentially reduction in some of the side effects. And it'll be exciting to see that move into the clinic. And then it's a lean development program and a path towards registration. On the other front, earlier this year, we announced the collaboration with Cycle Pharmaceuticals. It's a multi-product collaboration focused on products for rare diseases. They're a great partner to be working with, and we look forward to progressing those programs with Cycle Pharma through into development. And off the back of that, we've also seen significant interest coming to us from major pharma looking to evaluate the program. So it's those two strands of our own product development and also working with partners to utilize our proprietary adhesive in a transdermal drug delivery technology platform.
Brilliant. Thank you. And so final question then, I'd be interested in getting your sort of perspective on Mercia. So you are a portfolio company of Mercia. What do you see as the benefits of being a portfolio company of Mercia, and what sort of support have you received, do you receive from the team?
I think clearly Mercia look at the portfolio of investment companies as a portfolio and look to bring out the best of those companies through interactions between the companies. And so very supportive of joining the dots amongst that portfolio. And bringing their experience as an investor at all stages, from startup through development capital, through the different investment structures they use, EIS investment and their balance sheet investment. And so it's a very thoughtful way of engaging with the portfolio that Mercia brings. As an example, just recently I was talking with a member of the Mercia team about EIS investment and particular regulations focused on that. So I think there's value that comes from being able to interact with the Mercia team and with other portfolio companies within Mercia. And frankly, I must call out Mark Payton. I worked with Mark previously at Abzena. We had Mercia as an investor there. Mark's experience sitting at the board is valuable directly. So I must recognise his contribution to the companies that he's been directly involved with, including Medherant.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate to have Peter Dines on our board. So Peter's an experienced investor in the sector, but also had operational roles in the sector, and that gives him a unique insight to both our company, but the industry generally. So he provides a fantastic sounding board for the big strategic questions that we have. But the Mercia support goes all the way through. So it's different types of money, balance sheet and EIS investment, all the way down to we're doing some branding and social media work at the moment, and Mercia are supporting us through that. So the support we get from Mercia is right from the board all the way through to operational matters, which is fantastic.
The benefits of being a Mercia portfolio company, obviously it starts with the funding, and I think particularly creative seed funding, but not just seed funding. The funding, the ability to follow on and to grow with the company and make that capital available as companies progress successfully is a really, really nice model that works well for Mercia and for their portfolio. But it goes beyond just the funding. For us as well, we've received huge value from our investor director on our board in terms of the strategic guidance. He's a former entrepreneur himself that's run businesses, and this brings a great value add beyond just the capital and the monitoring of investment. And then we've partaken in a number of initiatives that Mercia have pulled together to share best practice across the portfolio, which they really don't have to do, but it's a real value add for the companies and for Mercia alike. And yeah, we've partaken in a number of those programs, and they've been very beneficial.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much indeed. So John Burt from Medherant, John von Benecke from Locate Bio, and Harry Lamble from Sense Bio. Thank you very much for your time and your thoughts today.